Hello everyone, welcome back, and today we are exploring the kingdom Protista, a microscopic universe full of life form. So now you might be wondering what exactly is kingdom Protista? Well, it's like a giant biological party where all the microscopic single cell eukaryotes, yes, single cell eukaryotes hang out. These are tiny organisms, have a nucleus and membrane bound organelle. This is the exact definition of eukaryotes. Just like plants and animals, right? They also have a membrane bound nucleus. Now, what are the characteristics of kingdom Protista? So, they have a well-defined nucleus that we already covered. If we talk about their habitats, they can live mostly in aquatic environment, and if we talk about their reproduction, they can reproduce sexually as well as asexually. So we can say it's making them ultimate multitasker. Right now, let's learn about few more things about kingdom Protista. So protists come in a different family. So there are total 5 families that we need to learn in today's class. These are chrysophyte, dinoflagellates, euglenoid, slime molds, and protozoans. Few of them are photosynthetic, few of them are heterotrophic, and some of them are saprophyte. Difference between these 3 terms, I guess you already know. Photosynthetic, those who can prepare their own food; heterotrophs, those who depends on other organism; and saprophytes, who loves to feed on decaying matter. So some example like chrysophytes is photosynthetic protist, and we can say slime mold. Slime mold is a saprophytic protist. So we'll learn one by one about every family one by one in the upcoming slide. So let's come to the first family, which is chrysophytes. So few important things about chrysophytes. First, let's learn about their examples. 2 important examples about chrysophytes are dinoflagellate. Is it? No. Dinoflagellate is not an example. Golden algae, and one more example, it's diatoms. So these 2 are example of chrysophytes. Now why we are calling it golden algae and diatoms? So first look at the structure of diatoms. It is kind of, the wall is made up of we can say silica, and it's a we can say a box kind of structure around their body. And the wall is very, you can say very strong. Silica wall is very strong. It can stay there even though if the diatoms will die, right? So when they die, they left behind their silica cell wall, and the silica cell wall are tough, and they form diatomeous earth, and which can be utilized for polishing products to oil filtration. If we talk about golden algae, which is also an example of chrysophytes, look at the water where golden algae is present. So it makes the water, you can say, slightly golden and brown color because of the presence of a particular pigment, and that's why their name is golden algae. Apart from this, they are important ocean producers. How can be important ocean producers? Because they can prepare their own food, right? So other organisms can feed on them easily, and that's why they are, we can say, they are the primary producer in the food chain, and they are photosynthetic as well, right? Next, come to the next classification of kingdom Protista. It's dinoflagellates. So dinoflagellates, they are mostly marine. Second, they can also prepare their own food, and they can be of many color. They can be yellow, green, red, blue, and brown. How can a single organism is in many color? So here we are talking about a particular group of organism, and depending on the particular presence of a particular, we can say, a pigment, there might be different color of the organism. Some of them even causes a red tide. Yes, a natural phenomena where the water turn reddish due to harmful toxin released by a particular organism named Goniax, and it is we can say a problem because it can disturb the environment there, and it can release toxins. So look at the structure. The first look at the picture. The first one, it is a kind of red tide, and this bioluminescence, the blue color, it is also because of dinoflagellates. And I already told you they can be in a different color like yellow, green, red and brown. Now let's come to another classification of kingdom Protista. It's a euglenoid. Example, euglena. And they are also kind of very fascinating. Why? Because they can switch between being plant-like and animal-like. And so we can say they are kind of shapeshifter of Protista world, right? And they have a flexible body. So till now we learn about other classification of kingdom Protista. All of them are kind of hard, silica cell and cellulose cell. But here euglenoid, in euglenoid it's like very delicate we can say structure. They have flexible body instead of a rigid cell wall. And they are photosynthetic in presence of sunlight only, and when there is no sunlight they can behave as a heterotroph by predating on other small organisms. So we can say there is no a well-defined boundary of kingdom Protista. So for example, let's say particular organisms can be a protist for one scientist and plant for another scientist, or we can say fungi for another scientist, because there is no well-defined boundary of kingdom Protista. So it can be that box which is present in our house in which we can put multiple things. There is no proper classification, yet there is a classification, but the boundaries are not very rigid. If we talk about features of euglenoid, so basically they thrive in fresh water, they have flexible body, right? And next, they can be photosynthetic, they can be heterotrophs. It depends on the condition. Next is slime molds. So if we talk about slime molds, they are kind of real life mystery. They move like amoeba, feed on decaying stuff and form a giant multicellular structure as well. We call it plasmodium, and this multicellular structure form under favorable condition, right? And when the condition get rough, they produce spore to survive. And it seems like they're kind of related to protozoa and fungus as well, right? Because they are forming spores and they are saprophytic. Sometimes they can be form a multicellular structure, we call it plasmodium. So again the same principle apply here. There is no rigid boundary of this particular kingdom. So few things you need to focus here. First word, saprophytic, plasmodium, and they can produce spores when the conditions are unfavorable. Next come to the next classification, which is protozoans. So they are kind of, we can say, animal-like Protista, and again we can sub-classify them. They come in four main types. The first one, amoeboid, second flagellated, third ciliated, last one is sporozoans. If we look at the name, so for example, it's something moves like amoeba because of the presence of pseudopodia. I guess you're already aware about the term pseudopodia. So let's say if this is the structure, pseudopodia means false leg. So these false leg created, these are nothing but these are pseudopodia. Pseudopodia start with P, not S. So pseudopodia. Clear? Next one is flagellated, so they can move from one place to another place with the help of flagella. Best example, trypanosoma. Examples are very important here, and it can causes disease like sleeping sickness. Next one is ciliated protozoan. So example, plasmodium, and it is covered with cilia. Cilia means tiny hair-like structure. They have, apart from this, they have a cavity in their body called gullet. This is also important that you need to remember. Next one is protozoan. Protozoan are parasitic protozoan like plasmodium and responsible for malaria. Now here what is important in protozoans, you need to remember the 4 type along with their one example, and that's it. We covered a different class of kingdom Protista along with their description. If we summarize everything, so protozoans are diverse single-cell eukaryotes. They play a key role in ecosystem. They can be a producers, they can be decomposers, they can be parasites. And it helps us understand evolutionary relationship between life form, because one protozoan can be related to 2 different type of organisms. For example, plants and animals, animals and fungus, fungus and plants, right? So that's why we can say they help us understand what evolutionary links between different life form. So that's all. A few questions related to kingdom Protista only. Very first question, which of the following Protista is responsible for a red tide that we covered in the class itself? So which option is correct? I already gave you answer. So you can see it on the screen. It is option B. Next question, which group of Protista form a diatomeous earth used in filtration and polishing? So option A is correct answer here, but okay, it's a particular, we can say, group, but more specifically we can say diatoms. Third, what is the primary feature of dinoflagellates? So basically they have a cellulotic plate and 2 flagella in their body, so that's why the name dinoflagellates. Next one is, which of the following Protista can act as both autotrophs and heterotrophs? Very important question. So euglenoid can connect both autotrophs and heterotrophs. Next question, which of the following causes malaria? So plasmodium can cause malaria, very famous question. Next is slime mold are classified as what? Slime molds are saprophytic. So it's also important. Why? Because they're different one from all the 5 classification of kingdom Protista. So slime molds are saprophytic, easy, right? S slime mold, S saprophytic. Next is, which of the following is flagellated protozoan? So we learn about it in a different class of, we can say, protozoan itself. It's trypanosoma, which causes sleeping sickness. Last one, what structure help paramecium in feeding? So gullet, it is what's a cavity present in their body which helps in feeding. Important question. Last question, I guess, it is diatoms are mainly found in, so they can be found in all type of water, so we can say fresh water and marine water. So that's all about today's class. Thank you so